This podcast is brought to you by Living Swell Studios. When you want to record your next hit, broadcast your next live stream, or just need a quiet space to edit your videos, Living Swell Studios can accommodate all your needs. Located in New Orleans, they're equipped with a rehearsal hall, print shop, photography space, and more. Living Swell is your one-stop shop to facilitating your vision. Let them fulfill your music and video dreams. Hey y'all, what's happening? This is daphessah Drew Bayham coming at you with another episode of Drew's Putting It Out There. Yes, today, for this episode with me, I got my Sharia Moore, my two-way bell, the thorn on my side, my baby girl, all that other stuff, you know, all those other names. I want you to give a round of applause for Maya. Maya, yes sir, yes indeed.
Hello.
And you know, special cohort, you know, well, she's a guest tonight, but she's going to be a special cohort, you know, usual. My niecey, I like to call, I got a couple of different names for her, but, you know, we're just going to go, yeah. Yeah, it's Tione Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Tione Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. I am Tione. And the Al Hammond podcast on the building.
Yes, sir.
In the building. Give it up, Mr. Rose B. Jenkins, a.k.a. Mr. Irv Darby.
Swerve Music, Lamborghini Swerving, Flash Walk Jackson.
Yeah,
Shot Flash, right?
Yeah.
Al Hammond, the podcast, the Black Stan Smith.
Shit, well, that makes me the Black Roger Smith then. And
So bad.
Yo.
And I'm about to give a special shout out to my other niecey who's working them camera angles. You know, we're going to get it right this time, right? All right, that's what I'm talking about. That's my niecey, yeah.
Tiara.
Yes, indeed.
Bravo.
She going to be doing your next podcast, so that's how we're going to do this.
Yes.
All right. Without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get into it.
So what we start?
This is gonna be the official gossip version of the episode because we're gonna be talking nothing but entertainment for the most part. For the most part. So we getting straight into it. Coming to America.
Ooh.
We waited 30 years for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 31.
31 years. 31 years for this.
I was 2 years old when it came out.
Yeah, bro. 89, right?
Yeah.
89. It came out in 89. So, you know, your thoughts. I'm gonna start with you, Maya.
I enjoyed it.
I did too. I really enjoyed it. You know, there's a couple of things we about to deep dive into about it. You know, because there's some things that we pointed out. You know. So what you think, Tita?
Like it was good. I feel like it was for the fans. Like I feel like maybe if I was a little bit older, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But I feel like coming from the perspective of somebody who watched it, you know, growing up, it was nice.
Okay.
All right. I loved it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It was. I like the whole the arrangement of it. It was really. It was nostalgic, and I feel like. I tell people all the time, if you trying to compare it to the original, you're not gonna like it.
Right.
But if you just let it be what it is and appreciate for the fact that this is the new age coming to America, you're gonna enjoy it. Okay. Now I have a concern. Jaffe Joe's dead. Jaffe Joe's dead. That didn't make no sense. Like he's sitting there dressed up, like having fun, dancing.
The funeral?
That was a funeral?
No, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
but he was alive.
No, but it was supposed to be. He wanted his flowers.
I wanted to be alive at my funeral.
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't catch that.
He wanted his flowers while he could still smell it. You know.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And so it was just so it was just a thing that like we speaking highly of you and all that other stuff. He wanted to hear it.
But it was kind of strange how abruptly he died.
Right. I'm about to die, son. And Salt and Pepper and Vogue. And Gladys Knight did not have to be there.
Well, look,
and Morgan Freeman.
I'm on the fifth of Morgan Freeman because it's Morgan Freeman. But it's like,
Well, I think part of that is just the fact that, they wanted to make it kind of, big in its essence. You know what I'm saying? Like, is King Jafar's
funeral.
His funeral. He wanted to hear like people speak highly of him and all that type of stuff. I think that was the whole idea. And so like, extra. And then he wanted to be extra. There's the king. And so that's why I think that's why it kind of was like that's where the fanfare came from in the pomp and circumstance and all that, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, for him to just kind of slump over. But I was like, when I saw it, like from the very first, when they turned him around, I was like, he gonna die right there. I already knew it. Like that's just one of those things, I think it's maybe partly because, and especially when it comes to black movies, I kind of know how scenes gonna go. Right. When they go there,
they use a lot of foreshadowing.
You can kind of foresee what's happening. So let's get into it. It was one of because this cat brought it up, and I'm putting it out there for y'all kind of talk about too.
Okay.
Which I thought was a very interesting observation, and I think it's literally up for the means of for debate. I was on another podcast. Okay. And he was talking about, he's like, man, I love, women's empowerment. He was referring to, the daughter. Right. In the movie. He's like, man, I love women's empowerment. I just hate seeing it come at the like emasculation, of males, that type of thing. Yeah. And I saw it, and I was like, wow, I think he has a point, because the way that, the way that he made like Hakeem look, Prince Hakeem look, or even, look at the way they made King Hakeem look.
They made him look soft.
They made him look soft as hell, and like literally pawning his son. Right. For the sake of peace, so to speak.
Because he was scared to go to war. And how the king told him, he said, you spoiled, you're not built for this.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like they just setting it up for him to be soft. Right. But yet his daughter, the princess, she was ready for it. She was ready to get it, like the whole nine. And so I was like, for me, it was a disappointing, thing. Even though like I didn't even see that. But it felt disappointing to me, right? Like on that level.
Because you remember in the first one, him and Simi was training,
right? Exactly. And like they were awesome,
and they beat up Samuel L. Jackson's character, right? So they had the combat within them.
Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if it was just that he just thought, I don't, maybe that's the way they set it up because, it was an easy narrative. Mm-hmm. To kind of put out there, and it was just, I think it was just maybe.
But most daddies or fathers, dads, they have that softer side for their daughters, right? So I think that was like part of it as well, because if you think about one of the opening scenes when they're fighting, right? He kind of went easy. He really didn't go in on.
You could tell he was holding back.
So he was holding back. So, I mean, it's just. I don't know.
No, man, yeah. I mean, you have a point, and I'm thinking about that. I said, but I guess it felt disappointing mainly because I was like, like
are
this
you
man
like
has
speaking
a point.
like in terms of the wife, the queen, when she did her moment of, she said, "I am not hopping on one leg." Oh, okay. She made that very clear. Right.
Well, I mean, now that I think about it, it's all around, even from the first movie. I'm thinking like that's probably why they wrote it like that, was because towards the end of the movie, the first movie, he is getting soft. Right. And he's learning how to make French fries, and he knows how to mop. Right. And he wants to marry a woman for love, and and stimulate his intellect as well as his loins.
But did you think that kind of humbled him?
I think that's what I took from it.
It might have.
It was just a humbling experience for him. That's what I took it as.
Okay. Good. So
make him a regular, guy. He wanted to be the regular.
But another thing I liked on the movie too was that Vanessa Bella Calloway character was still hopping on. And I like how they tied Nino Brown. I mean, I call it Nino Wesley. Wesley was like, oh, come to find, I was like, oh, you her brother. And he was just trying to like find every reason to go to war. Like, can't wait till your daddy died. Know what we gonna do, right? Yeah. we gonna take over Zamundan.
Get the Birdman hands.
But the fight sequence with them was kind of like, it was weak because I was expecting for a whole militant army to come in there.
You talking about the daughters?
Yeah, the daughters and Simi. And then I'm like, Simi, you get knocked out. You trained to go too. Why you acting like you scared?
Now that was another thing for me because like now Simi, not only is Hakeem soft, but Simi soft too.
Right.
Yeah,
y'all just soft.
No,
like,
that's called aging.
Yeah, right.
No, but I expected for the takeover scene when he came there to try to storm the Capitol to force the wedding. Right. I expected for them to be on go. I expected for them to go to war. Right. I expected for to be a brawling in a small room, and then he not got on the ground. Okay, let's talk. It's like no, I expected how he was acting. Right. He had Rick Ross, Ratumi, whatever his name is. They always like sitting there like, whenever you ready to go, let's go. And he going there and get beat up.
Now I did understand why King Hakeem didn't want, his daughter to marry
the son. You can look at the son.
The son. Yeah. Now he was weak.
Yeah.
He was weak. I was like, okay, I get that part. And so he
was not Dre. He wasn't Dre anymore.
Yeah, he wasn't Dre.
No, he wasn't Dre at all.
But not to be all silly, shout out to Ricky Rose for getting his cameo and making that money. They're taking his house and making like Zamunda.
Oh.
Rose.
All right. Well, speaking of in the direction of royal families, I'm more than sure that everybody has seen the Oprah interview with Meghan Markle.
Jessica watched it. I didn't see it. I was asleep.
Well, we did. We fell asleep too.
Yeah, I saw
we did. We saw something.
Inform me what was really up. Tell me what's really going on with the whole situation. Because I really don't know.
She was talking to Oprah about some of the things that was going on behind the scenes, with the royal family, and how she never really felt accepted by them with discrimination. And her baby, they didn't want the baby to come out dark.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah. So
y'all surprised?
No, black people not. Black people not surprised by the slightest. But
the white
it's like, interesting, because yeah. Well, I mean, because they're just surprised because they was like, we would never thought that it would happen in that presence of that family.
Right.
I'm like, man,
I think people were just surprised that she spoke out about it.
Yeah, that too.
Bluntly.
That too.
And she really didn't speak about it. Like, she danced around a lot of.
That's what Jessica was like. She didn't get into details.
She didn't really get into details
because she could have exposed them.
Yeah. And that was my thing. I'm like, if you're going to do an interview,
you got to expose
the interview. Like, answer the questions. Like, who said
they should have had Charlamagne though.
Exactly, right?
But
he would have got it. He would have got it.
I was telling Maya, I was telling Maya, I was like, no, Barbara Walters should have done that interview.
Yeah, she would.
Because she was because she's a journalist. Mm-hmm. Like Oprah's a journalist. Don't get me wrong, because like that's what she got her degree in.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Oprah show was based on, like a certain journalism.
But Barbara though,
like Barbara was a journalist. Barbara would have been like, no, Prince William said that
she would have been petty.
The baby was too dark. The baby would have been dark. Can you confirm or deny that?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. It's like I think Barbara Walters would have been a better
Oprah
person
was
to get that
kind of
interview.
Conservative with it. She remained kind of.
But I get it. Oprah is your friend,
right?
Your close confidant. You invited her to the wedding over everybody else.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Oprah's in there.
Yeah.
She got to sit damn next to the queen.
Oh yeah. So Oprah had to.
To kind of remain conservative about that.
But what I got out of that, I got a lot of it out of that interview, mainly because she said enough for me. Mm-hmm. She said enough because just for her to get on there and say it,
right,
was enough for me. I was like, I don't even need to know who said it. All I need to know if it's confirmed or if it was.
I'm sorry.
Said.
I was like, did Kay say it? Was she the one that said the baby was? I really was. I was like, was she the one that said the baby?
I mean, hey, maybe
what
she
color
was.
do you think the baby will be? What?
Yeah.
Gonna ask me that. So.
Yeah, I mean,
nigga baby.
I mean, you know, yeah, right. A Negro baby. Negro baby.
It's like a
Throw
royal
it to the alligators.
The royal plantation. Huh?
Yeah, buddy. You know, but I mean, I understood because, you know, she was also told by somebody in the royal family that, you know, use the better half of you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You know, when you're amongst the royal family, when you're doing anything for the firm.
Yeah.
She called it the firm.
Caucasian. Gotta use the Caucasian side.
Right.
Yeah, you know,
your daddy's side.
And then they said use your better half.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You know, so but
Which I think is so insulting. It's so funny.
which led me to another conspiracy that I heard of. You know,
Let's get to it.
let's get to it.
Red hair.
So, so you know, everybody's trying to figure out, you know, why, you know, the royal family wouldn't make Archie a prince, the child, the firstborn, yeah,
Oh, all right.
firstborn son. Why they wouldn't make him a prince? He was denied princehood before he was even born.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Huh, I have to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Is Archie is their baby?
Archie's the baby. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the newest. I mean, the oldest one, eldest child.
We talking about
Yeah, because she's pregnant now. She's
okay,
currently
okay.
Yeah, she's pregnant now. Yeah.
that baby, the second baby gonna come out dark. Watch. I told somebody last night. The
Be a
second baby
little
gonna come out
toasted.
dark.
Just a little toasted.
So there had always been rumors that Princess Diana had an affair
Mm-hmm.
with somebody in the royal security. You know, so when you think about it and you look at Prince Harry
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, he looks different than his dad and his brother.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he looks like his mom. He looks like Diana.
Right.
You know, now I'm thinking to myself, it's like, okay, well, supposedly y'all got some strong genes,
Right.
you know, on there. So like, how did he just wind up,
Looking like the mom.
looking like the mama? Just boom, just came out. Hey, I'm here. You know, and I think that was some of the. I mean, well, I'll say it like this: I have reason to believe that that's true, just because of the actions that Harry has taken.
Right.
You know, like enlisting into the Navy. I think it is. I think he was enlisting to the Navy. You know, doing all of these missions and all that other stuff. You know, it's like,
Right.
you know, he's done everything different than everybody else in the royal family.
Right.
He's going against the grain.
You know, he even married a woman who was once divorced.
Right.
You know, so this is a second marriage. So to a lot of them, she's kind of impure.
Right.
But they can't judge. The queen married her cousin. I
Ho,
mean,
ho, ho.
come on now.
That's her cousin?
The cousin,
The dude he's still alive, right?
Yeah.
The dude,
that's the cousin.
That's a cousin.
Oh. No wonder the family
she
screwed
would
up.
marry outside
You gotta
of
keep it royal.
Couldn't do it.
See, I said it. Gotta keep it right.
Gotta keep it raw.
Man, I'll have a plethora. I'll be on there. You have to like look.
Yeah. So so I'm like, okay, he's doing everything different. He's not really considered part of the royal family. Harry.
Right.
Harry's not really considered a part of the royal family. And the fact that they wouldn't give Archie
Mm-hmm.
a princehood,
They must know something that we don't know.
they must know something that we don't know, because that's the only viable reason that I could think of to do that. And it's not, and I'm like, it can't be Meghan Markle's attitude.
Right.
You know, we're talking about, you know, now, yeah, he's 6th, 7th on the list to take the throne. You know, so he would never take the throne,
Right.
so to speak. But you know, just for them to just be like, nah, you don't even get, you don't even get a title.
Right.
You don't even get considered a title before he was even born.
Right.
You know, so yeah, I was like, man, if I was Meghan Markle, I probably would have been thinking about killing myself too.
Right.
Because like committing suicide, because it's like, this is some bullshit.
But know what I tell people all the time? You have to get to know not only the person you've been involved with, but their family. You gotta figure. You gotta like get to know these people. You gotta know everything. He's like, okay, what's the whole gist of your family? So I know when stuff hit the fans, if it hit the fan, what I'm getting myself into. Because you gotta protect your personal interest.
Ocho Cinco said? He said, what's your track history looking like?
Yeah, that's genius what he said.
You saw that interview?
He was like, were you an athlete in high school? Do you have any videos?
Right. Well, for our viewers and our listeners, break down what Chad said.
Huh?
Drew, for the 5 listeners and for your niece, what was the interview about? Not to be
well, basically it was I forgot the podcast it was on and basically he just said like, you know, he doesn't care how good a woman looks, how beautiful a woman is. Mm-hmm. He was like, no, I want to see your pedigree in order for me to procreate. Mm-hmm. If we procreate, I gotta know your pedigree. I gotta know your history.
He want athletes. He want his children to be athletes.
Yeah, he wanted that's just like Ice Cube.
Just teach him how to run.
No,
yeah, he wanted athletes,
but he wanted is like, nah, I need to see if I know what I'm bringing to the table as far as my attributes with athleticism. I need my wife or my baby mama to match the same, because he gotta be in our bloodline. So for my kids to work hard.
Oh yeah.
But back to the subject at hand, Megan should have sat up there and like kicked it with the family for a while. Like, hold up, let me get to know y'all right quick before I make this decision.
I'm sure the signs was there. I'm sure the signs were there. Like,
I mean, the signs are always. You're right. All the signs are always there.
And then she said the only one that was really, really nice to her was the queen.
Wow. Yeah. The whole time, I thought the queen was gonna be turned up. She was the
That's what I said.
But the queen is old as hell.
Yeah, so she probably don't give a care as much as she once did, like when Princess Diana was there.
And that's what I'm about to get to. I think when we saw Diana, Diana was beefing with the queen. Mm-hmm. You know, like because she was different than any other princess.
Right.
You know, she was different and married into the family.
Right.
I think Kate Middleton, she just kind of like slid right on in. Mm-hmm. You know, she was that type.
Yeah, she fit.
You know, she fit right in. And so she was just able to slide right on in and just be like, okay, boom, we all good, we all gravy.
Right.
But, you know, Meghan Markle comes from her own money. Mm-hmm. You know, she had already made a name for herself. Mm-hmm. And so like now, you know, you're less controlled.
Right.
So to speak. You know, you don't have as much control over Meghan Markle. You know, so now you got to assassinate her character. Nah, yeah, she might have been a bitch. Yeah, she might have.
Probably had her little ways.
Yeah, you know, she might have had her little ways, just like every other woman in that palace.
Right.
Okay.
They all had their ego trips.
They all had it, you know. So I you know, I feel for her. I feel for Meghan Markle, but I don't.
Right. Because
you knew exactly what you was getting into. Right. You knew that the black half of you was gonna catch flack.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You already
it's automatic.
Right, it's automatic. You knew this already. You just didn't think it was going to come the way it came.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing about, like, you know, the revealing thing about her interview.
Right.
She just didn't understand the magnitude as of what was going to happen. You know, she didn't think that somebody was going to ask, you know, do you know how dark? Do you think, you know, the baby's going to turn out dark? Or do you know how dark the baby might be?
Right.
Do you think that's a result of like her privilege?
Yeah.
It's being biracial and being wealthy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, caught up with her. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Definitely.
And her life wasn't by any means like easy.
Yeah.
You know, but
she could pass for both.
Yeah, she can. No, she can pass. Like she's 7-ward passing.
Yeah, she's. And I told my coworker. My coworker was like, I don't see no black features. And I said, girl, you look at her, you could tell she's like a red chick from the south. Like you said, from the south was.
Yeah, she just, you know, she just passed the high yellow. Yeah,
I mean, she could pass for white and she could pass for black. My coworker told me, I don't see. I said, look at this girl features.
Yeah,
that's black features.
Look at her features and look at her mama.
Yeah,
you'll see it. You know, you'll see it. I think it's the freckles that she has on her face. You know, that like people be like, nah, that can't be no, you know, that black woman. You know what I'm saying?
Like
when
I was on Suits, I sure was. I was like, yeah. Right. Your mama or your daddy, somebody got a little dark skin in there. Yeah. And happen to be mama.
Right.
Yeah. So mama. Yes, indeed.
If it was her daddy, she would have been darker.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what we would think, hopefully. Yeah, you know, but, I mean, we got Jimmy Graham's and Patrick Mahomes's and, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean,
so
yeah.
Verdict is still out. Verdict is still out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Realtors. Do you need some special aerial photography or video footage? Or maybe you need some stock footage of the city for your presentation? Or maybe a beautiful shot of a landmark just to hang on your wall? Well, time for you to check out DM NOLA Shots. They are a drone photography and videography company established in New Orleans who specialize in capturing aerial 4K video and photo. Check out the website at www.dmnolashotsllc.com or follow us on social media at DM NOLA Shots on Instagram and Facebook. DM NOLA Shots. Yeah, so I mean, like the next topic, I want you to take it, Irv, because I'm going to show that you have a take on.
Okay. So I brought a question to the table. Does religion make people closed-minded? And what inspired this thought, I was talking to an aunt of mine, and we was just always talking about subjects. I just send her stuff from Instagram posts with just different like historical things, and she'll tell me what the Bible says. Is the Bible that? I'm like, I get that, but what about the world? Like the Bible is not the world. If that's the case, we wouldn't have the Quran or the books. So I asked my aunt the question that John asked you a while back. I said, if a child's born growing up to praise a goat, worship a goat, that child dies, is he going to hell? And she told me yes. I'm like, why? She started hitting me with the Bible stuff. I'm like, but who you just say that person's going to hell?
Yeah.
Based off of their culture. And I told my aunt, I said, you're the type of person that will be on the mission, go to these crazy islands, and you won't come back. Right. She cursed
like
me out.
Went to that island trying to spread Christianity.
They killed him at the show.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And they dragged his body to the woods.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And my thing is, most people who I meet who are highly religious folks, they just, when it comes to other cultures and other ideologies, they challenge it or try to get them to understand. They are very close-minded.
Of course.
So.
And they try to bring it on to other people.
Right. It's like, they try to tell you, like, look, what I'm saying is law. What you saying is blasphemous. Why are you telling me it's blasphemous? The Bible said, like, no, prove to me about, let's use something about you bringing the Bible in.
Something tangible.
Yeah. Right, you based off of something that happened we wasn't here. Now, don't get me wrong.
And if they're going to quote the Bible also says that no sin is greater than the next.
Exactly.
So like, when it comes to that judgment.
Right, but you still think about it. You're judging a person. At the end of the day, judging is a weirdest sin. Is the same sin as adultery.
I think the biggest thing is like when people first immerse themselves in religion, they just want to tell somebody about it. It's like something that happens to you and everybody.
You want to spread the good news?
That's cool.
Right. But what I had to come to terms with is that beliefs are personal. So your beliefs are personal to you, their beliefs are personal to them. So it makes everything easier. It makes it easier not to get offended when people, have different opinions.
Right, and I had to tell a friend of mine one time, I said, if everybody on the face of this planet was one religion, one creed, and one way of thinking, how could we learn from each other?
Right, we never progress.
We'll never progress. We'll still be where we'll be at, and then if that one person spark an idea, they're liable to condemn them. I just something I always think about, like, right, like every time I talk to somebody who's engulfing this.
Yeah, it's
when you
like
mention
they have that one direction, they just like focused on it.
Like,
and they try to. I don't have
us
a problem
Christians
with
going to heaven.
Like
they might not go to heaven. Like, who are you to say this person might not go to heaven?
Might not go to heaven.
Like,
exactly.
forget religion or stuff. This is a human being who's made in God's image. Who you just say this person is going to heaven because they don't practice the same faith you have?
Yeah, and people like that draw you away from religion.
Yeah,
that's what they want to do.
That's why I call that's that Mike Pence, that Christian extremist.
Yeah. Well, my take is that I learned that frame of mind by traveling the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I had an aha moment when I was in Shanghai, China. And, of course, there's a number of different religions that are, kind of part of it. Buddhism is kind of I'm not gonna say the dominant religion,
right?
The dominant faith or the dominant philosophy, but a lot of things come from that culture. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, these people seem to have a little more peace of mind than a lot of people that I know in America.
Right.
Who tell me that, trust in God and he will provide. But these people don't even need for God to provide for them what we're asking for.
Right.
So I'm like, wow, that's, this is the interesting part of this equation.
Right.
Or when I went to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Shout out to my uncles in there.
Yes, son. But like when we got in rather late on their schedule, which is around midnight. And so me having my jet lag, I'm up. So I wound up just staying up till about 5:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I had my window open in the hotel room. I heard that morning call over the loudspeaker. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this is one of the most beautiful melodies I've ever heard in my lifetime. So I'm like, how can you not like love this? How can you not?
It's so peaceful.
And and their religion is literally all about peace.
Right.
They're gonna fight if they have to.
Right.
If we get down with the get down, we can get into some gangster shit. That's
everybody got an AK at the house.
Yeah, but there's a reason why they pray 5 times a day.
Right.
Because they don't want to get to that level.
Right.
So am I to say that what they're doing and their practices is evil or not of God?
Right.
Because I'm holding to one doctrine.
Right.
Really what it is, like how you said you traveled. And a lot of people, they don't travel. People don't read other books because they don't want to find
the truth.
They're going to find something that invalidates their religion.
Right.
Oh, sorry. They're scared they're going to find something that invalidates their religion. And
I mean, for me, I understand it, but I've always been, well, maybe that's why I'm a musician, because I've always thought along the lines of I thought that's what we were supposed to be doing anyways. Right. Because the book said, know me for yourself.
Right.
That doctrine. The doctrine says, know me for thine own self. So
that's what I follow.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So you have to read that doctrine for yourself, because if you read the doctrine, you will challenge it. There will be no doubt that you're going to challenge it.
Right. I know. And the thing is, I know it's about what I do is I ask questions to spark the idea and spark the conversation. I remember I was at my old job one time. I said, "Let me ask y'all something. If all of us in here are African Americans, right? Yeah, we black, cool. If we was never been brought here during slavery, would we be studying Christianity?"
No.
I said no. Everybody that tomorrow, yeah, I believe. I said I don't think so.
Christianity was brought off by white people.
And like I said, and there's no.
It was used
for a lot of people. For the most of us, that's why I kind of like. There's validity into what the 5%ers say. Why? Because I believe. I'm starting to believe more and more. Like,
what's the 5%, Drew?
Oh, the 5% nation. The 5% nation.
It's hard to explain,
it's basically
once you get up on it, you'll be like, whoa.
I can give you a quick one. It's Clarence 13X, right?
Yeah.
His name is Clarence 13X. He started the Nations of the Gods and Earths, and he he moved away from the Nation of Islam because he was in the Nation of Islam, because their theory was, if you're going to tell me that the black man is the original man, why is it that 2 mixed men are considered the messiahs, the second comings of Jesus, which is Farad Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad, because they were mixed. Both of them were mixed. And so they put themselves, they got their own temple in Harlem, I think it is, Harlem, Gods of Earths, the Gods and Earths. And basically the beginnings of hip hop are all ingrained.
Like RZA, GZA, SZA. SZA name is from the 5%ers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the ODB from Wu-Tang, Busta Rhymes said when they came down to the actual knowledge of the 5%ers, everybody thought he was just crazy dude, but when it came down his knowledge, he knew how to control a cipher, which is a cipher is like us right here. So he knew how to control the room and drop information and have people minds going.
Yeah.
So that's what
And
the
all
5% is.
of the great early hip hop, well, all of the great early rappers have some dipping or divesting in that they investment in the 5%er,
Like Peace
the
God.
5% philosophy.
Right, like Peace God with the to
God,
these sciences. Like for example, this is the perfect one you don't understand. What's happening, son? Son is a when we call each other son, people think it's SOA like you my child. No, I'm talking about
Because
That's where it's
because their philosophy, part of their philosophy is that, you know, the book tells us that we were made in this image, in
Right.
the image of God. So why aren't we gods?
right. Psalms 82.
Yeah. You know, so it's, you know, but the more and more I would look at it, the more and more I would think about it, I was like, you know what, there's validity
Right.
in his, you know, in his ideas, you know. And so I'm like, this is the culmination, you know, this is the challenge. And basically in the temple, all they do is challenge. Like they square up and all that other good stuff, and they just challenge each other.
It's called building.
Yeah, you know, nation building. And so, you know, I think the main reason why the religious people are so close-minded is because they're taught and they're told that this doctrine is the be-all, end-all doctrine.
Right.
You don't have to read any other books.
My thing is this: as a black man, why I can't get my heaven on earth? Why I gotta die to see heaven? And then if I die, I don't know where I'm going there because nobody never came back and said, "Hey, look, this is what it's gonna be like. Be
That's where
prepared."
you're going.
Right.
So,
I mean, it's the same with voodoo.
Right.
How they make it so bad. But if you think about it, during slavery, if it really was bad, all the white folks
would be gone.
They would have been
clean
dead.
out.
They were white folks out.
Because it was powerful.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it was so I think religion is just one of those broad things that, like you say, when they're taught to follow this one doctrine,
right.
people just kind of get programmed. And I mean, we've been programmed, you know, for many centuries.
And it took life experiences. It took, you know, just the challenging of ourselves and our minds to break that doctrine. So I can't get mad at Sister Mary because, you know, all she knows is her Bible.
Right.
You know where she's coming from.
Right, you know where she's coming from, because you can still tell that she's a good person because she still, you know, cooks for you. She'll still take care of you. She'll still, you know, like she'll still do all of those things that we looked at, you know, in the what's the word? You know, the lineage of Jesus,
Right.
Jesus Christ, you know. And it's the same thing with the following of the teachings of Muhammad. It's the same thing. You know, so it's not that they're bad people. It's just that they're taught, and sometimes they're not challenged on the doctrine that they, you know, that they know so well.
One thing I learned: you want to piss a Christian black woman off? Talk about challenge the concept about Jesus and talk bad about Barack.
Yeah.
About Jesus, right?
Don't play with Barry. Don't play with Jesus.
I was so young when Obama was like, when he was president, that like when I got older and I started learning things, it just hurt my heart.
I was like, again, y'all surprised?
Right. I mean,
I was 8.
yeah, you know, I was young.
I had questions. I was like, hold up, bro. Like, this is legit.
Well, no, I was young, you know, but I was old enough to understand what is what is. One thing my dad always taught me was like, you know, if you want to see why something the way it is, see who profits from it.
Right.
Right.
You know, you always look at who profits from it, because once you find them, you'll know exactly what's going on.
But my thing is, not to cut you off, I'm sorry. My thing is with the whole Barack thing, and even with Kamala Harris, stop calling the first black this. No, I want to see a black person in office in the presidency who malt and paw is black.
Right.
That's what you want to impress me? Bring somebody, a regular, real black person. Like, look, let's make you run the country.
Right.
Not your other half.
Right, of course. Yeah, your better half. Your better half.
It's called your other half, because that's not your better half.
Right, exactly.
The fact that people affiliate favor with tangible things. And I just have a big problem with that. A big problem.
Like people who say like they're God's favorite.
Yeah, like they're favored because they've attacked. Exactly. And it's like, so you saying that my grandmother who live in her house that's been here
right
for 30, 40 years, and she go to church and she read the Bible and she tithe faithfully and she do all of these things, but she ain't rich.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She rich at heart in other ways, but I mean, like, she doesn't have these tangible things. So you're saying she's not favored? You know what I'm saying?
A lot of black people are just brainwashed.
I really have that.
they brainwashed by bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, I
and
mean,
then it's like,
the
and who decides who gets what?
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Nah, I just disagree with that, because I'm like, it's all in your work and what you affiliate success, with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Your level of success.
And that's at the core of what I was going to say. One of my old instructors, Alvin Baptiste, always told him, control your subjective mind. Because success, wealth is subjective.
Right.
Your idea of wealth might not be my idea of wealth.
Right.
Yeah.
I bask in the fact that I can be around some of the richest people around, yet the only attention that's being paid attention to is me.
Right.
Why? Because I have the wealth that they don't have. They can have all of the material wealth in the world, but they can't hold a conversation to save their life.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just really good at business. They're really good at making money for whatever they do.
Right.
So, it's all relative. And I always used to make this. Me and Maya always go through this. I would always make the example of, I come from an affluent black neighborhood. Now, yes, the houses in the neighborhood comparable to uptown, yes, they are rather cheap, if you will,
right,
compared to going to the Garden District. The houses in the Garden District. Even square footage, it costs more in square footage to live in the Garden District. But what I love about it was that my neighborhood, Pontchartrain Park, my neighborhood was able to establish everything that needed to be established for a neighborhood. And they weren't, and it's not that they were content. It was just that I'm living within my means. I am, and I'm living a full life.
Good mortgage, bad mortgage.
Good mortgage, bad mortgage.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what Chris Rock said.
So, favor is subjective.
Right.
It is.
So, and I always tell people, it's like, yeah, I'm favored with this. I got a nice house and a nice car, and God showed me some favor with this nice house.
And that's the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah, right. And I be like, be careful, because be careful, because
what happened to Joe?
Not even they can take it, but understand what you're sacrificing.
Oh, okay.
For that favor.
Also, what you're honoring.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you know, you don't want to be honoring these material things.
Exactly.
Right.
You're supposed to be honoring God if that's what you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
Well, you know that, but but when you believe that God gives you things, you know, that's how you're going to think.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're like, oh, I've got a nice house and a car and this and da. And you kind of knew what it was to live poor.
Right.
You know, you just knew what it lived like to live paycheck to paycheck or just dead poor. You know, of course that's, you know, God giving you an abundance of wealth. You know, the story of Job is a perfect example.
Right.
Patience.
So, patience, you know, but patience and more at the core of it, it was just faith.
Mm-hmm.
Faith that I'm still going to praise God
In spite
of what my circumstances.
Right.
Because everybody told Job, bruh, like this ain't God, like for real.
Right. He was defending. He was like, nah, man, God got me. I'm straight, man. God got me.
God baked this cake. You hear me?
Right. The way, man, God let's see him play on me right quick, but it's all good. God got me. Bro.
Right.
I'm gonna chill for me.
You know, that's one person. That's one person I want on the podcast. Frank White.
Yeah, Frank.
You know,
You should that dude though, bro.
Yeah, bro. It's gonna be. I know it's gonna be a funny episode.
Oh yeah.
You know, but like we all, you know, and so when I approach people who are in that frame of mind,
Right.
I would just tell them, control your subjective mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because, you know, when you're talking about God, the best thing for you to be is objective.
Right.
You know, and be like, okay, what is the overall goal of me, you know, and my relationship, or, you know, something of that nature? Because at that point, you can still have all of those material things, and you're still just giving everything away, you know, and all those type of things, doing the things that, you know, are supposed to be in the what's the word? In the following of Jesus Christ. Yeah, so it's kind of like favor is always going to be subjective for me.
It is.
You know, just as success, failure, you know, all of these things that we measure ourselves by.
And then I notice with religion, a lot of people utilize religion to work their way up in the social class. Yeah. And social statuses.
Of course.
Jesus hustle.
But that's
right.
The Jesus hustle.
Right.
Jesus hustle.
I have a family member who I ain't gonna say who I was like, yeah, you pull the gospel hustle, bro. But
it's Jesus hustle, man.
And they got taken away from him by making one simple mistake.
Yeah. You know, and so, but that's why it's a hustle.
Right.
That's why it's a hustle, because
it don't last.
You know, it don't last. It don't last. And you can make one bad move.
Right.
Everything can be blown out of proportion, or blown out the water, or taken away from you, what have you.
Right.
You know,
and he's right back at the bottom, but you worse though.
Yeah.
You worse where you was at before.
You know why? Because here's the problem with that. Those same people who talk about favor, now they're trying to figure out why God has forsaken them.
Right.
So now you have a problem, you know, because you don't believe in God now.
Right.
You know, you questioning God because you took everything from you.
Right. But he still had left you with one thing: your life.
Your life.
Exactly.
Your life, your will, you know, and drive, vision, all this stuff. You still had it.
Things you need.
All things you need to build up that wealth that you need to build back up if you need to. So,
and I think about the story. I want to say, so the lady was planning to have dinner with Jesus, and she was expecting him to come. So she was cooking and getting ready, right? And so this guy keeps knocking on her door, but he's dressed in rags. And she's like, look, I can't, get out of here. I'm waiting on, Jesus. But when he, she never sees him. He never comes in her eyes. Right. And then she finds, she prays and asks, why has God forsaken me, and da-da-da-da-da, right? And he said, well, you turned me away.
Right.
Every time.
Right.
You turned me away. I knocked. Because people, and I say that to say is, it's like people expect the lavish, and that's not what life's about.
I think people expecting a dude who like me, small with long hair, come with a room.
Exactly.
Right.
With a better looking beard.
And if you read the doctrine said, he didn't have hair wool, feet of bronze.
Well,
eyes
in my
fire
opinion,
red.
he was chiseled. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you a carpenter, you cutting things with your hand. I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just saying he was chiseled. He was
Right.
He was looking real sleek and clean.
Right.
I'm just
So
They expected him to be dressed all white.
the
whole time
no.
my child.
If somebody all white come to my door, tell me I'm Jesus, like, no. I seen Constantine. I knew how the devil looked.
Well, we can get into this, this religion
this
thing
one's gonna go
all
like
night
Go to
long.
another subject.
Yeah, but I think we're gonna end it here.
All right.
I like to thank my Sharia Moore, my Tui Bell, my thorn in my side.
Thank you,
Maya
man.
for coming. I like to thank my niecey.
Oh, we finished?
Yeah, Tione. Yeah, we finished.
That one on there.
I like to thank my niece Tione Johnson for finally gracing her presence. Cohorting. And be on the lookout for her podcast. It's just gonna be coming out soon. And Mr. Roast Beef Jenkins, the Al Hammond of the podcast.
Black Star Smith.
And I said it unto thee, and it is written. It'll be done. Irv Darby.
Thank y'all for having me here as always. I'm just happy to be here as always. Thank y'all.
And my other niece, Tiara, working these angles.
Gotta go get the angles.
She'll have a regular job, girl. In a minute, you're gonna have a regular job. You heard me?
She learned the skill set.
The skill sets. I'm telling you, it's, hey, 4-year degrees ain't all that.
Right. Really
Not what they used
Yeah,
to be. They not what they used
Get
to
your
be.
trades together.
What Kevin
That's
Samuel
right.
said?
Get a
We learn skill set.
Yeah, learn the skill
Yes.
set, So, until next time, y'all, peace.
Peace.
See?